2010 at a concert, Tabby Benet concert in Richmond, Virginia at the Camel. First impression? Who the heck is this guy? Because he came at me and he was like, hey Sabrina, what's up? And I was like, hey, I don't remember you. Who are you?
I was like, who's this short cup of chocolate milk?
We met in person for the first time on February 8th, 2013, and my first impression was, I'm gonna marry her. Like, as soon as I looked at her, I was like, yup, I'm gonna marry her. That's it, that's the one. I'm good.
First impression was, hi. He walked in, he had like his New York swagger, so I liked it.
She cute, you know what I'm saying? I really was just like an admirer of her work. I was working with a clothing line at the time, and she had a blog, and so when I had the opportunity to just, you know, meet her at the concert, it was dope.
It was magical. It was a strange, magical experience. I never met a person where you just link up with them and everything falls into place. It kind of had me with my guard up, like, the fuck is this Harry Potter ass shit going on right now? Everything just said, like, I met him and it was like I had known him forever.
I can honestly say, like, before I met Sabrina, like, I didn't really have like I trusted women, but like not to probably like the full extent.
I know that when we first met, and for like the first couple years of that, I wasn't a good person.
I was just a single black man in America, fighting on the weekend. That's pretty much what I was doing.
I was in college, HBCU, going through a lot of phases in my life with my sexuality and being open, and I wasn't settling down with nobody.
I was minding my business. I really was. I was minding my business. I was not worried about anybody else. I pretty much swore off men.
I was very lost, didn't know what I wanted. I felt like I didn't have a purpose in life, and I was going through some pretty rough times with past relationships before him. And I was pretty insecure.
I had recently come out of a long-term relationship, and men wasn't really on my list of priorities. It was work and my son.
It's crazy because like the person I am now is the person that she saw 5 years ago. I just didn't know that person existed. And it took me like getting like sober and like starting my transition and like really learning how to love myself in the same way that she loves me for me to like get it.
She just changed the way that I looked at people. And the ability for someone to genuinely believe in you and have faith in you, even if all the signs say that this is not going to work. You know what I mean?
He brought a sort of calmness. I'm a very high-strung person. Everything is like, why is this happening type of person. And he brought a whole kind of like, listen, just relax.
He's always made me feel like these dark parts of you, they're dark, but they don't have to be your end all be all. There doesn't have to be parts of you that you should feel ashamed about, but things that you should embrace. And these are lessons that you've learned and things that you can take with you moving forward. And they don't have to put you in the dark place forever. These are just things that are making you stronger.
She brought me children, as you hear in the background, that are giving me more grace. I love them dearly. Stability, friend, a lover. It's been a good 6-7 years.
He's helped me open up my mind to a lot of things. It was weird. I grew up a lot overseas, exposed to a lot of different cultures, but when my parents brought us back to the US, it was a culture shock, so I wasn't very much open-minded to a lot of the cultures in the US, if that makes sense. So the impact, I mean, he helped me open up my mind to just life.
She brings peace. She protects my soul. I think that's the most important thing, at least the biggest impact about her that set her apart from anybody, is that I feel protected spiritually with her.
He made me fall in love all over again, when I really didn't think I could or would. So that's the first. And the second is my other two kids.
It had to have been a conversation that he and I had in person a few years ago that made me realize that I didn't want to be with nobody else, and nobody else was gonna have me 100% like he was.
It wasn't until like we were walking around just like being us for real that I realized, one, how much I had missed her, and two, how like she really feels like home.
For me, it was love at first sight. When I knew it was real love, was after we had separated and came back together, and when it was tough to think that, you know, I had lost my best friend. So it was at that moment that I was like, for real, this is it. It's the one.
It's at my birthday party. Can't remember how old I was because I'm only 25. But I was drunk out of my mind. My friends gave me entirely too much Henny. And I was laid out on the floor in the club, outside the club, and in the house. And as they say, alcohol is the best truth, so. And she was the only one that stayed with me, cleaned me up, and nursed me back to health. So that's when I knew what she was doing.
When he got up and joined my church, the day he stood up and decided to take his life a little further, get closer to being a man of God, I was like, y'all, yeah, that's definitely a man that I would love to call mine one day.
The first time that we kissed, it felt right. And I felt like, as much as we tried to deny, because of our differences at first in rebuilding our friendship, I think that moment kind of changed everything.
It's interesting. Me and Q, like, we were always in relationships before we got in a relationship, so I think it was like not a big deal with the whole relationship thing. It was just basically like, it was more of the idea of an actual partnership and a friendship with somebody that I'm in a relationship with.
And we both felt like that though, because I remember I was talking to, we call her, and I be telling her, you know what I'm saying, complaining about whatever chick I'm dealing with, and she called me and she complaining about whatever cat she dealing with. So, you know, we knew it was, you know what I'm saying, we knew it was coming, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, we was friends before we started dating, but we knew what it was heading to, you know what I'm saying. It just was unspoken, you know what I'm saying, until it was spoken.
The key, and one of the things that we're still improving on, is communication. That's like the biggest key.
I feel like people always say like communication is key, but like for real, you just gotta know how to talk to the person that you're in love with and realize that like that person is not your enemy. Even when we're arguing or we're disagreeing on something, she's still on my side.
One, communicating. Two, just, I guess, understanding each other's body language, mannerisms, I guess, and like kind of knowing when something is off. And three, our connection with God.
Learning when to just be quiet. It's just, everything ain't gotta be an argument, you know what I mean? Everything ain't gotta be, you know, a long drawn out. I'm infamous for that. Like, I've been learning, but like I've literally seen situations where if I would have just been quiet, there wouldn't even have been an issue. Like, sometimes, like, let people say what they have to say, and then just and take it in. Because a lot of it comes from, it might be what you need to hear, and you don't want to hear it. And you just like, well, if you want to bring up that, then, and you just like, what are we, I just messed up Netflix and chill. Like, what am I doing? You know, one of the big phrases in marriage is like, yo, you can be right or you can be married.
Arguing. I would say arguing and getting over your frustrations and your issues, but not letting it linger. But also trying not to go to bed angry.
Not killing him. I think that's a good key to maintaining our relationship. But after years of getting to know each other and learning exactly how to present problems and communicate effectively, I think that would be like the major key.
The ability to mold and change. We have a lot of things that we are accustomed to doing and things that we have to work on. We have been through a lot of things as far as change. For example, me apologizing is not my first go-to thing. So it's something that I have to learn to do, and it takes time and effort. So the ability to mold and change. If he's telling me, hey, you have to apologize more, that's what I need to hear. Gotta be able to mold and change for that. Without that, we can't grow.
Communication and having God in the center. Let me switch that. Having God in the center and then communication. Because Lord knows, like, I love Q to death and Q loves me to death, but if we ain't had God in the center. And then communication is because with me, I over communicate, he under communicates. So we had to definitely like learn that that is the key to a successful relationship. And happy wife, happy life.
If you were to choose a color to describe how she makes you feel, what would it be? Oh.
All of them. Like, I don't think I can shoot, like, all of the colors, every color, shit, colors that don't exist. I don't think that there are words or, like, things that exist that really can, like, describe the way that she makes me feel.
I think it's interesting that her eyes are green, and that is how she makes me feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, she makes me feel calm. It's about to sound really, really, really mushy, but there's times that, like, she sleep or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I just look at her, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, I'm like, yo, I came up. I'm like, I came up, you know what I'm saying? I definitely came up.
Red. Red is my favorite color. Red hot for her attitude. Red for her food. This food is spicy as hell. It'll be red.
Purple. I don't know. Purple just, it's like royalty to me, and he always treats me like royalty. But yeah, that's the color he makes me feel.
Purple. It's my favorite color, and that color makes me extremely happy. And yeah, every time I see him, it's purple. That would be the color.
Dark blue, violet, and some orange, because those are all really calming, but the orange kind of lets you know that there's still life there. It's not calming to the point where it's boring, it's calming to the point where it's beautiful.
The color that I would choose would be orange. And I say orange because it reminds me of sunsets. It reminds me of sundown. It reminds me of being in my apartment with the blinds down, and that being the first color I see with my eyes closed. It's the beginning of my day, it's the end of my day, and that's how I feel about him. He's the beginning and my end of everything. So definitely orange would be my answer.
White. I say white because it can be an open canvas, and the thing that she's done for me has, she's created a safe space for me to be vulnerable and open, and that leaves room for so many other colors. So it's like a canvas. Yeah. So some days it's not easy. It could be red one day, it could be blue, it could be like that lavenderish color, like when the sun sets. She gives me the ability to be open and to be myself, and that's why I say white.